Welcome to Worldwide Hustlers. This is Matt Auber. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 8 things not to do. So normally we usually have a to-do list. I'm going to call this a not to-do list. So without further delay, roll the footage. Okay, welcome back. So out of the 8 things that I do not want you to do that we're going to talk about, the first one is do not hit the snooze button. So in the morning, a lot of times people want to sleep in. So what do? They reach over and they hit the snooze button. So if you win in the morning, you win the day. Okay, if you win in the morning, you win the day. So if you procrastinate about getting up in the morning, you're basically setting the stage for the rest of the day, which means procrastinating, because you just started your whole day right there by procrastinating. So let's not hit that snooze button. Let's just go ahead and get on up. If anything, I will say set your alarm like 10 minutes ahead. So if you want to get up at 7, okay, instead of hitting the snooze at 7 and then get up at 7:10, okay, set it for 7:10. Set it for 10 minutes further. Okay, essentially disrupting your sleep to allow yourself the pleasure to procrastinate. That's what you're doing. So don't hit the snooze button. Just go ahead and get on up. Start that day. And like I said, if you win the morning, you win the day. Okay, the next one that we want to not to do is don't show up late. That's a big deal. People that show up late, when you show up late, what you're telling that person is that your time is more valuable than their time. It's being selfish. That's what you're doing when you show up late. And it's not the right thing to do. If anything, you want to be there early. I mean, I tell people this, when you're at work, 80% of keeping your job mainly is coming to work on time and being there. That's like 80% of keeping your job. So don't be late. So what? Okay, let me ask you this. How many times have you been late for an airplane? Okay, if it was once or twice, that's an exception to the rule. But 99% of the time, people aren't late for a plane. And why is that? You don't want to miss your plane flight, right? So, but what will they be late for? If you want to meet them in the morning for a jog, they'll be late. Hey, meet me in the morning for some coffee. They'll be late. So why are they late for these things and not other things? Being late can cost you in the long run, okay? So let's say this, go back to the airplane ride, okay? How long did it take you to get to the airport? What's the fastest you've ever gotten there? And you might say, well, 25 minutes, okay? So it took you 25 minutes a couple times, or maybe once. You did that one time, 25 minutes. And that was like no traffic. You were just right there. Everything, the lights are all green. You flew through there. Most of the time, though, it takes you about 35, 40 minutes, let's say, to get to the airplane or to get to the airport on time. And then there's been a couple times where it might have taken you 55 minutes. And then 1 or 2 times, it's taken you actually an hour and 10 minutes. Okay, out of all of those different times, 25, 35, 55, 45, 50, somewhere in there, and then an hour and 10 minutes. Which one should you use from now on to get to the airport? Hour and 10 minutes. That's your buffer. If you want to create a buffer and fix being late, that's how you do something like that. Find the one that took you the longest and use that one. Now, there are people that are always late for everything, and they will always be late. Number 3 on not to do, okay? Do not gossip, okay? Don't gossip and do not listen to gossip. When people are gossip, just think about it. What are they saying? So if somebody comes to you and they gossip, and then you're listening and on, and then when they're gone and they're talking to another person, what are they telling the other person? Are they gossiping about you now? So, I mean, in gossip, to be honest with you, it's 99% of the time second and third hand information. It's 99% of the time negative information. It's just not good. It's best to stay away from. Gossip creates distrust. That's what it does. So stay away from gossiping. And another thing, if somebody comes up and they want to start gossiping, okay, take a leadership role and just say, you know what, I really don't care to hear it. I'm fine with it, I'm okay. And it takes courage to do that. But let the person know that you're not interested. So that way you can keep gossip away from you. Okay, number 4, don't watch the news. Now, I'm not telling you to not stay up on current events. But what I'm trying to tell you is that news nowadays, I don't care what side you're on, the right, the left, the independents, it doesn't matter. News is basically entertainment nowadays. That's what it is. And why do they want what they want is your attention, but why do they want your attention? Because it's valuable. Your attention means money. Your attention is valuable, it means money to them. If you're wasting your attention or your time on things that you have no control over, that cannot move the needle, you're basically wasting your time and not being productive in life. Okay? Your attention is very valuable. It really is. And what you hear and what you see all the time and what you feed into your brain is extremely important. And listening to the wrong thing all the time, somebody's agenda, or they're pushing their agenda, it's just bogging you down with negativity, and it's misinformation a lot of times, and it doesn't do anything for you because, like I said, you have no control over that. You can't move the needle on that kind of stuff. So let's focus on other things. Let's focus on ourselves. Let's focus on self-development. Let's focus on getting better, wiser, stronger, things like that. Things that you do have control over, which is us, and stay away from the media. If you pay attention to the conversations that these news junkies have, they're not talking about anything that they have any control over or that they can affect in any kind of way, shape, or form, positive or negative. They're just talking. And a lot of times these discussions go right into politics. And I know these people are talking about some big things, but they're having meaningless discussions. So it's a distraction on our everyday life, and let's just push this back as far as we can. So what I do is I subscribe to something called Morning Brew. Now, I don't get paid for this or anything, but it's an email I get every morning, and it goes over what's going on the planet, what's going on in the United States, the stock market, businesses, economy, jobs, things like that. It's called Morning Brew. That's what I listen to. I just open it up, do a quick glance at it, see what's going on, and I move on. So that's a good way to stay away from the news. Okay, number 5, do not criticize. Don't pass judgment, okay? We are all a work in progress. Nobody here is perfect. I'm sure not perfect. So stay away from criticizing. The fastest way to get someone to dislike you is to criticize, okay? People hate that, to be honest with you. So don't criticize. And it might be in your head. Like, if you ever criticize in your head, like you see something going on, like somebody eating, somebody working out, somebody just whatever they're doing, and you criticize right in your head. It's a negative annotation, and it really does feed on your brain. And with you having that in thoughts, they're negative thoughts. Why have a negative thought when you can have a positive one? So stay away from criticizing people. It's not a good thing. It's a bad habit. So let's change that. Okay, number 6 is wherever you are, be there. So I also say a good example is don't eat and scroll. Okay, so if you're with somebody, be there. I mean, basically what you're doing is that it's very rude and it actually pisses people off when you're there, but you're not there with them. Okay, now if you're in line waiting and you're at the post office, I mean, that's different. You can be on the phone, do whatever you want. But, wherever you are, be there. Enjoy that moment. I mean, you're not enjoying the time as it goes through the day. I mean, let's put it this way. You're in your office at work and you're probably thinking about Cancun. So while you're at work, you're thinking about Cancun, right? And then what happens when you get to Cancun? You're thinking about the office. I mean, it's a perpetuating cycle. So just wherever you're at, be there and enjoy the moment and try to do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. Okay, number 7, don't leave something unfinished. So my analogy is don't leave dirty dishes in the sink. Whatever you can do today, don't put off for tomorrow. And people actually joke about that. And they're like, oh, I saw something a while ago on that, and they were joking about, not doing something, blowing it off. And it was supposed to be a joke meme, but the thing is that if you really think that's funny and you joke about it a lot, then that becomes reality for you because you start to think that a lot. And whatever you think, it manifests. So, don't leave things unfinished. And believe it or not, most of the stuff that we do, it probably takes us 2 to 3 minutes. If you look at all the little tasks you have during a day, a lot of them are tiny. And they build up and they add up if you don't take care of them. And then that starts to get depressing because in the back of your head, you have things that you need to take care of. So if something comes up and you need to do it, just take care of it and move on. If you need to write an email and send it out, write an email and send it out. I'll guarantee you're probably looking at 2 to 3 minutes for most of the things throughout the day for you to do. Okay, the last one, number 8, things to not do is don't wait for perfection. Don't sit around and wait until everything is perfect before you can do something. So you don't have to, they always say that you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So when I started this YouTube channel, I mean, I didn't know much about this stuff. Like I've said on my other videos, like making a thumbnail, you know, how to edit the videos, how to come up with the title, how to get SEO. I didn't know much about that, but guess what? This is video 26. And guess what? I've gotten a lot better at it. And by how? By doing. That's the best way to learn, is to do. Same thing when I wrote my ebooks. I've got some ebooks on Amazon. I've wrote, I think, 5 or 6 books by now. So I mean, but I never would have gotten started if I wouldn't have done something. So get started. You don't have to wait to be perfect. Like, I own real estate, and I know in the real estate world, people will get paralysis of analysis. They won't buy a piece of property. They won't make that first offer. They just keep analyzing and analyzing properties. They get good at it, but they never make an offer. They can tell you what the cash flow is, what the cash on cash return, the net operating income. They can tell you all that, but they never make an offer. And a lot of people, you know, they'll say to themselves, well, I'll wait on writing that book. Or, you know, I'll wait to start that business. Or I'll wait to get in shape before I start CrossFit. You know, you hear this all the time. I'm going to wait to this before I do this. Well, why even do that? Just enjoy the moment and then move on and get going with it. You'll get more by learning and making mistakes and get further along than by sitting and waiting for you to get perfect before you get started. The best thing to do is get started. You will learn as you go. So if you're waiting for the right time, that time is now. Get started. So don't wait for perfection. Remember, the objective of life is to act. And action is growth. And growth is life in general. So you want to get started. So I hope you got something out of this video today, out of the 8 things on not to do. So like I said, instead of having a to-do list, this is a not to-do list. If you got something out of this and you think it's worth sharing, please share. Please hit the like button. If you're new, consider subscribing and hitting the bell if you would. And I will see you on the other side. Thank you.